Hi, this is LeAura Alderson with My Trainer Fitness. Delighted to be here today with two friends, Marina and Starz. They are originally from Ukraine. They've been living in the U.S. for about 25 years, and they have recently authored a book, Can Love Be for Life? And we're going to be featuring this on My Trainer Fitness, and you might be wondering what Can Love Be for Life has to do with a fitness site, but really it's all about not only fitness for life, but also fitness in relationships, fitness, financial fitness, and mindset fitness. And one of the things that Andre and Marina talk about in this book is the importance of physical fitness when it comes to a relationship. And you guys, we're going to have pictures from your site posted on this article so everybody will be able to see. But you guys are amazingly fit and always have been. So let's start there. I mean, I know you were there's so many places we can start. I mean, you guys have just lived such an amazing life already. But since we're going to be on a fitness site first talking about this, let's start with your fitness and what you started, how you started out keeping physically fit, and what you do now.
Well, LeAura, first of all, thank you very much for having you as our guest. It's an honor and pleasure. We know each other for quite a few, about two and a half years right now, and thank you for your generosity and hospitality. It's a good question. I think we were very blessed and lucky in our lives. So we choose, or the universe chose us to have a profession that need to be fit. My wife, Marina, my better half, she's a classically trained ballerina. So she trained in the Bolshoi Academy of Dance since age of 11, actually. So, and to be classically trained and to be in dance, you have to be fit. And I'm a circus performer, so acrobat. So also to be on stage, I have to be fit. But it's interestingly enough, we kind of never thought about, about how to be fit or what to do. I guess the natural metabolism kind of worked for that. And to be on stage and perform, that kind of kept on shape until I think we were like about 35.
Yes, about 35 years old. When we start thinking more closely about this.
What happened, we went on one of our vacations and we went to Moscow and we spent, I think, about 1 month there. And of course, to be with my mom and the environment. And if you've been in Russia, Ukraine, it's crazy. They'll feed you every day, 24 hours nonstop. I mean, if you're not eating, they said, something wrong with you, son. Why are you not eating? And all of this like a pelmeni, galuptsi, and, it's all very hot, fat, and it's a hard. It's very. So we gained lots of pounds after that.
Really?
But what happened when we came
back,
and we were living in Las Vegas that time, and usually when we have a break, in our season we have about 9 months contract and then 3 months break, and so we went in Russia and then we come back, and all of a sudden we have a gig. Like a corporate gig, and we didn't have a time to prepare to our gig. We were prepared physically, athletically, but we didn't have prepared athletically. What happened, we were in the same dressing room with Chinese acrobats, and they were young guys, 20s, and they were perfect condition. And you look at ourselves, we can kind of have like a bicycle tires around our waists. Maybe it was, okay for somebody else, but for us, it was not okay. And after that was our turning point. We said, you know what, it's a time for us to kind of watch what we eat and, to keep in the best shape as possible. Because if you want to do something, be on stage, you are responsible to be in front of the audience, to be in the best shape as possible. They're paying money to see you.
Right.
So that was a turning point about 15 years ago.
Yeah, so when you're about 35, because are you both 50 right now?
How old are you?
Oh, 51.
51.
She's 51. She's a cougar. I'm 50.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that was a wake-up call, and it must have been hard to go into that performance when you didn't feel as confident, as you normally would.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what we did after that, actually, and we have a theory, me and Marina, even now we retired 3 years from performing. our best friend is actually weight scale.
Ah,
Our best friend. It's actually a little tip I always tell to my clients and to friends who are struggling with the weight. And the reason I'm kind of pointed out, I just have a conversation with one of my friend who's losing the weight and he's eating healthy. And I said, okay, how you doing? He said, I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. I have a compliments. And I said, what's your goal? He said, my goal is to lose weight and it feels great. I said, well, how do you know when you achieve your goal? And it was a pause. He said, well, I don't know. I guess looks better. I said, well, do you know how much you weigh? No, I don't. How much you want to weigh? No, I don't. So what it is, we have our way, our actual way that we feel comfortable, and you weigh ourselves every morning. And and sometimes you weigh like 2-3 pounds more, but if you have the 2-3 pounds more in a
More than a week.
more than a week, then it's a warning sign. They need to change something that you can skip maybe couple of dinners,
right.
like Marina says, and maybe you need to improve your workouts,
And get it back into balance.
and get it back in balance. That's what I always recommend with all my friends who struggle with weight or who keep their weight. This is literally my best friend, and it's actually a good analogy. I always tell them, what in your definition the truly friend is? And they will say, well, this and this and that. And in the end, they would say, he's truly honest to you. Because your best friend always tell you exactly what he thinks about, And I said, that's exactly what weight scale do.
Yeah.
He always will tell the truth. He never lies.
Yes.
It's kind of, that makes sense. And this is little shift. Perception can always, help people to kind of be on the path, to healthy, to keep the weight, not the weight, but keep in shape. That's one of the things. Yeah.
Have you heard of the Tanita body composition scale?
No, never heard.
So we've done an article recently on My Trainer Fitness, and I will link it to our article with you. But it measures not just the number of pounds, but rather the muscle mass and also the fat percentage, which as we age, the muscle diminishes and tends to decrease. And as you know from working out probably, that you can actually gain weight from muscle, but actually be leaner, if it is that you are not also gaining fat, or if you're losing fat and gaining muscle, since muscle weighs more than fat and yet it's more compact.
Absolutely.
And so what's really cool is that this shows you the percentage of body fat. It shows you your physique rating, whether you're average or athletic, or overweight or obese. So by measuring the composition of the fat percentage and muscle, it really is even more of an honest friend, so to speak, by giving you those details. So that's very helpful for people looking to lose weight, because, typically, in particular women, I guess some men too, a lot of times when they're looking to lose weight, maybe like your friend, they just start eating less. And when you lose weight, you can also lose muscle. In fact, we always lose weight and fat and muscle. And you don't want to do that. You want to keep the muscle so that you can continue to burn more calories and be more fit. So that scale really helps you keep on track with it.
Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Forward to have that link and
yeah.
using that. Mm-hmm.
It is. It's very good. So yeah, I'll mention that and you guys can look it up. But let's go back for a minute, because I think since for fitness, people would be interested. So Marina, back when you're working, basically as a ballerina, plus having all the training. And then for you, Andre, as an acrobat and clown, etc. What were your physical regimen? What was your physical regimen like during your performance years? And Marina, when you speak, hold the mic just a little closer, because I didn't hear you quite so well the last time.
Actually, while I was at school, we did have really good teachers who told us everything basically and lead us through our journey, how to improve your physical skills, how to watch your diet, how to have your lifestyle. And that time we didn't think much about that. We just followed their advice, and I really appreciate them now. So in my opinion, it is very important to have a good instructor. And if you pick one, you must trust that person and follow all his advice of her. And I think the more you move and less you eat, and more good quality of what you eat, it will help you how you will look like.
Right.
Yes, so you have to balance your diet and your exercise, and I think this is the key.
So, yes. And so what was your physical fitness routine like when you were training as a ballerina? Was it just ballet dancing, or did you do other kinds of fitness training during your peak performance years?
No, at school we mostly did just ballet exercise, ballet class, and rehearsals. So actually during the performance I didn't much time spent in a gym or something, tell you the truth. But when you're on a vacation, definitely you need to add something else and spend more time at exercise room and in the gym. Start using the weight and master stairs I like.
Did you say the stairs?
Master stairs.
Yes.
My favorite.
Master. Yeah. Very good. So is that what you use now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So you haven't performed back when you guys were performing regularly, was it 6 days a week, 5? How many?
Sometimes it depends how I feel like, and six days a week. Yes.
So when you were performing 6 days a week, and how many shows per day?
Sometimes 2 shows, sometimes 3 shows, sometimes just 1.
And so you didn't, so was the show your workout, or did you also exercise beyond and practice dance beyond the show?
If you have 3 shows a day, sometimes it's difficult to find the time and energy to do something extra. So
that was enough, but the show is enough probably to stay in shape.
For a while, yes.
Yeah. As you passed the 35-year-old mark, maybe a little extra was needed.
Yes.
Well, here's another thing. Like when we perform, and for the last few years, we perform our own show, and basically it was a 2-hour show, which is, from the book, it was based on our love story.
Right.
And we also was producing and performing that show. And like Marina, for instance, she did 3 acts that were physically demanding and physically very tenacious, I would say. She did an aerial act, and then we did 2 acrobatics acts in the same act. So it was a really, really good workout. And if you do that 1 time a day, that will be enough. But if you do 2 times, and very rarely we did 3 times, but it was a lot. So we were lucky, like I would say, because we were performing. That was enough for us to continue, keep in shape.
Yes.
But Marina still did work out because what happened when we are getting older, our regimen, it's not enough. We need to push ourselves a little bit harder to keep the mass, the muscle mass, but also to stay in the shape. So what happened when you perform, you do push a little bit harder, then it will be for you to easy to perform. Like I give you an example, I was always work out despite that I work 2 times a day or 1 time a day. I would work out about 8 o'clock in the morning. I would have a full workout. And what was interesting was I not only love it, but also it gave me additional energy. Because if you have your workout in a specific way and early in the morning, you actually create energy in yourself that you can even work more.
Right.
You probably know about the guy, what his name? His name is Mittelman. He's a famous marathon runner. And his idea was when you work out, you need to watch your heart rate. You probably know that, right?
Yes.
Because if your heart rate in a specific zone, that you burn sugar, not burn the
muscle.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's what we are kind of always check our pulse rate, make sure we're burning our not sugar, we're burning the fat, exactly, burning fat instead of sugar. Because if your heart rate is very fast and you work faster workout, then you burn your sugar and it will be basically you burn out very, very easy, and that's when you get fatigue and some other stuff. So in our regimen, we can work harder, push our health harder, but interestingly enough, we have more energy.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Energy begets energy. You know,
Right.
like
Right.
positivity begets positivity. So when we push ourselves, we generate. You know, like we are little batteries, and
Right.
that's how we charge our batteries, by movement. So that makes a lot of sense. So Andre, what was your routine at the gym when you were going to the gym around 8 o'clock in the morning during your performance years?
My routine was, I always was with weights, always did that, and with heavy weight and, you know, dumbbells and everything. But also always would have a cardio in the end. I would wrap it up with cardio in the end, because it's necessary, especially when we get older. It's must for our heart, you know. And also I really believe in you need to have a sweat when you work out, because when you have sweat, that all the toxins, it's getting away from your body.
Right.
I truly believe in that. And as we getting older, I would start at stretching my exercises. When I was young, I didn't really care about it. Marina, actually, she did all her life.
Stretching, yeah.
Yes, yes, it's very important part of exercise.
Yes.
Mhm.
So when I get older, I start feeling that's important to prevent us from injuries. So I would do more stretching with my back and, you know, the everything. And I'm still doing even now. Even I'm retired from performing, but I used to do stretching like every
Well, in your book, Can Love Be for Life, you talk about, at one point, I think Marina says that you talked her into going to 3 yoga classes a week. Are you still doing that?
Yes.
But you know what it means, three yoga classes. If you read carefully, it has a little bit different meaning.
Oh, 3 yoga classes a week. Okay.
You remember now, right?
That's yes. Well, I thought I read it literally at that point because there was more than one reference. But okay, so so let's just touch on that for a minute, though. You're talking about staying in shape. You're talking about having a healthy life, healthy sex life, healthy relationship, healthy friendship, and you have created. You had the wisdom early on in your relationship by observing a relationship close to you, your parents, in fact, that did not work out, that was tragic to you, that it split up, that you made a vow that that was not going to happen to you, that for you, love was going to be for life. And somehow in those early years, you had the wisdom to recognize that was up to you, that you could make that happen if you made a conscious choice to make it happen. So that's fantastic to be so young and to have that pivotal aha moment cause something inside you. I mean, in a way, if it hadn't been for that, you could have had an average life or an average relationship without recognizing the need to set forth this strong foundation of relationship from early on, which you're calling in the book the pyramid of love, essentially. So that pyramid has 3 sides and 3 walls, as you call it. Lover, friend, and spouse, and nurturing and building each one equally. So I presume you put the physical aspect of life into the lover aspect. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so is that something you guys talked about before? Because one of the things I think is interesting, we had one of our site fans sent me a note and asked me what I thought, asked me for help because she said her fiance was not that interested in exercise and he was already overweight and she wondered what she could do. And I had my answer and I shared some thoughts with her. But I think that whether it's a fiance or someone you're dating or someone you're thinking about marrying or someone you're already married to, that's an important conversation to have. For you two, you were already involved in a fit way of life because that was your career. So perhaps it didn't come up and you met each other on that foundation of physical fitness in a way because you were living a fit life. But what advice would you give someone, who's not married yet, but dating, about when to have that conversation and how to have that conversation with their significant other?
Марин, ты хочешь ему сказать или я скажу? Well, here is how we view that. That's really, I would say, sensitive question to many different people, and because our physical appearance, in our opinion, physical appearance have a great weight in our lover's wall. That's what we're thinking, the lover's wall, because
it's the first layer.
Yeah, it's how we attract to each other. When we are, let's say, how we met with other person, what attracts that person or us to that person, or vice versa. And it could be different ways, it could be just a personality, or it could be just, maybe it's a teddy bear, maybe somebody likes teddy bears and doesn't really care for this masculine look, you know what I mean? And somebody maybe like, the woman that has rounded forms. It's all depends what's your preferences. Here's what I'm talking about. It's two different ways. One is a healthy way in our bodies, another one attractive way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And all of us has a different preferences in how we attract each other.
Right.
So let's not talk about the healthy way. Let's talk about attractive way. Right? Okay. So here is where we stand in me and Marina. I think the blessing that we have in our relationship, that we are trying to keep our appearance, that how we looked 30 years ago.
And you're doing a fantastic job of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it. But what it is, because Marina fall in love with me, I fall one in Marina, where we are there. And of course we aging, it's normal process of life, but it's okay. But as closer we have a resemblance to that, it's better for us.
Yes. That's
what we were thinking. And I think just it's a simple thing that we can do at least to keep our physical appearance. And plus it's our part of, our lifestyle. We like athletic lifestyle.
Right.
Here is another thing. We are truly thinking that if we'll gain 40, 50, 60 pounds and we'll be kind of wandering in the house with stained pajamas or t-shirts, we will still love each other. You know what I mean? But do we will turn on each other?
Yeah.
That's a little bit question that we don't really risk about that.
Right.
Because in a lover world, like you said, it's a many different fitnesses. It's a financial fitness, it's a health fitness, and it's an intimacy fitness.
Right.
So this is a part that we enjoyed and we continue to enjoy in the many years to come. Excellent. So we would like to be still lovers that we met 30 years ago and we fall in love madly. And through the years, we keep in this passion and we attract each other. I love how Marina looks like, and I hope she likes how I'm look like,
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So that's would be my question, specifically about the attraction. So talking to your friend, let's say, why she's fallen in love with her husband? Did he was overweight then? Or he start overweight right now? So that would be a question to her. If he was overweight or if he's not, then it will be why he start doing overweight right now, why he's losing interest in himself. That will be probably a question to you as a coach, as a life coach, so that you can help them, to figure that out.
Yeah. Right. Well, so did you guys talk about it together? Or was it, sometimes some things that couples do, they're so much on the same wavelength that they don't even have to have those conversations. And other things are conscious effort. Which was it for you? I'm guessing that you were automatically on that wavelength, but did you have any of those conversations?
After 30 years together, for me, sometimes I don't need to have any conversation because I'm the most of the time feel the same way as Andre do. And so basically I know what's going on in his mind and what he's expecting from me. And I'm trying to give it to him. And basically we don't need special conversation more about each other.
But you know what? It was a turning point when it was 35. Not only we look at ourselves, and here's the interesting thing. It's natural for us when you grow older to gain about 2-3 pounds a year. It's natural. It's totally natural. And actually, many doctors said that that's okay. You're gaining 2-3 pounds. That's okay. It's normal. But here's what it is. You have your choice. You can say, yeah, it's okay, I'm getting older. I can say, no, it's not okay. Right. So again, it's up to you.
Right.
And I remember that we made our choice. We realized that that's our natural metabolism not working anymore. So you need to work extra hard and you need to be conscious about what you eat and how you exercise it. So it's a personal choice. And the sooner you figure that out, it's better.
Yes. That reminds me that Tanita scale that I mentioned to you for weighing with the body composition, you will be interested in this. Not only does it calculate the things that I mentioned, but also calculates your metabolic age.
That's cool.
So for instance, if you get on and it shows, okay, there's Andre at 50 and Marina at 51, the chances are, as fit and healthy as you are, your metabolic age is probably around 30. 28. So yeah, that's a really cool feature to that. It shows you, you know, and what's interesting about it is if I don't work out for a day or two, for whatever reason, we've been working a lot. And so now my fitness is probably less than it's been in about 10 years because we've been working in the mind more than in the body. And yet the scale knows, you know, so if we bike and I do a quick exercise, even if it's a short one, the next day, it shows on the scale that there's down a year and up some muscle.
Wow.
I mean, it's that sensitive that it really is very closely keyed in with with exactly what's going on in your body. So it's harder to fool yourself, and it's very interesting. But yeah, that's such a good point because, you know, even 1 pound a year, I mean, that's not much, right? Well, but in 20 years, that's 20 pounds.
Yes.
And it's amazing because 1 pound a year totally sounds reasonable. But, you know, I had this thought earlier, like some years ago, I started noticing as we were aging so people in their 20s, you know, are narrow and slim. And then people get into their 30s and 40s and in their minds, they've just gotten broader. Mm-hmm. So and yet that broadness is still fat. It's the weight has gotten redistributed, you know, it's wider, but it's still fat. And so like you noted, you know, you have your original figures. And that's possible, which I think is very inspiring. We have a lot of people that visit our site and they're fans of My Trainer Fitness that are in their 30s, 35, around 35, and they're going through the same thing you guys went through. And so many people at that point feel like it's too hard, I think, because it's like, you know, they're busy, but you're prioritizing and just saying, okay, look, this is what's happening and this is what we have to do to deal with it. You know, it just means we have to step up our game.
That's right.
So so if we could talk a little bit now, because I'm going to also share this with Boomers Reinvented, talk a little bit about the concept of being in your 50s. And you guys, okay, first go back 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, you guys stopped performing and you didn't have to have the same discipline. You didn't have to have the same structure. Did you still keep going to the gym at 8 o'clock every morning? How did that change for you?
It changed a little bit. It changed what it is right now. I actually don't go to gym more often right now. I still love working in the gym. But here is what I did. I kind of slack off a little bit when we retired and we went on vacation and we were traveling. And all of a sudden, I started losing my muscle mass and all of this, you know, getting a little bit of pounds. And then I was thinking, okay, what if I will just stop practicing and performing and work out for about 3 months. Let's see how I'm gonna feel. And so long story short, 6 months later, I didn't like how I look like. I didn't like how I feel like it. I felt sluggish. I didn't have much energy. And I was thinking, okay, that's interesting. All of this that we're doing to us, I always would like to kind of, you know, push myself, not to the limit, but kind of, okay, this is a stopping moment. Now I need to change that. And I did it kind of on purpose because I would like to use this as an example if I want to teach somebody or train somebody. So how do they feel? Yes. How do they feel so I can, you know, feel it myself and kind of say, you know what, I know how you feel and I know we can do it together to change that.
Yes.
And also I was kind of thinking, okay, what if in our busy lives, like every day people go to work like 9 to 5 and then come back and it's so much things to do at home and it's homework, kids, this and that. And there's literally no time to go to the gym.
Right.
How can I help those people? I will start thinking about this, you know, and so I think, okay, what can I do? What can help that it will be no excuses? I mean, period, you know, okay, I cannot work in the gym. Okay, no money, I cannot go in the gym, no time, no money. So I started what you can figure out something I can do at home. And it's not a lot. It's like maybe 30, 40 minutes. And can I get back to my shape? Actually, I have a picture. I can send it to you if you like to look at it.
Yeah, we would like to post it. I remember that. I remember you going through that experiment. So definitely
Right.
in that picture.
So what happened, I figured it out like many people want to talk to, and they don't like to go to the gym, or, that it's boring or this and that. They don't have time. So I think, what if we create a system that you can do that at your home while you're doing something?
Yeah.
Is that my noise or your noise?
No, sorry. It's somebody's Skyping me.
Okay. So here is what I did. We create kind of a system that I will do my morning routine. I brush on my teeth. I take a shower. I shaving, but at the same time work out. So actually work out 5 days a week in my bathroom. I would say I have a quite large bathroom. I can work out in walk-in closet. But I can do that. So I have a couple of dumbbells, and what I do push-ups, and I do the dumbbells, and I do some yoga exercises.
In the bathroom? It's so funny you say that, because every morning I do squats and push-ups and sit-ups in the bathroom. We have
Perfect. We will think alike. That's what it is. And you know what? It's give me such a great feeling that I already done with such important thing in the morning, and I'm ready and I'm energized. And also, if I'll do workout in afternoon, that's a bonus.
Yes.
So I've been doing that, and I lose my weight. I actually lost not many pounds, but I lost 9 pounds of fat, but I gained more muscle mass. So I would say I would probably lose like 15, 16 pounds because I was gaining some muscle mass. So again, why I'm telling this, it's no excuse.
Yeah, no excuse.
So many workouts, you can figure it out.
Yes, definitely.
You can stay at home. It's no excuse. It's just you need to kind of make that decision for yourself. Enough is enough. I want to take care of responsibilities to look better, to feel healthier. And like we know, we need to figure out why you need to do that, right?
Yes.
If we have our why, then the rest of it will be easier. It will be easier. So the reason is maybe it's your wife, you want to look better for your wife, or you want to be healthy to see your grandkids or great grandkids and go to Disney World, and you can.
Motivation is important. Any motivation is important.
Yeah. Yes.
Motivation, inspiration.
Yes, definitely. And so for you, Andre, you took that period of time and you felt less energy, you felt less like yourself.
That's a good observation, less like myself. You got it. I kind of start losing my identity, that's fit and active, and energized Andre. Yes, you're absolutely right, LeAura. Yes.
Did you, because in a way, it could have been another, we go through these midlife transition points, which sometimes are called midlife crises, which really is just, another opportunity or another open door, the transition point. Transition points in life by nature can seem vulnerable. As you know, from performing, those transitions, those leaps from one plane to another, happen around 35 and then around 50. And in particular at retirement, there's that sense of, now what's my identity? I've been wrapped up in doing this show for all these years, which that show was you. That was amazing. The show that you did was your story. And now you're not doing that. And you have plans because you're an idea person, an entrepreneur, and creative, and nothing's going to stop you. But there was still that transition period where you weren't exactly sure what that was going to look like. And then you kind of lost sense of yourself. Did you actually experience any kind of depression?
No, not really. It's always, you'll have days that you're down. But as like Tony Robbins says, it's our mentor, we can call him, but when people ask him, Tony, are you always this energy guy? And said, no, I'm not. Yeah. I can have my downs, but the key, I think what he said, we're not stay in that state, right. Depression mode. I have my days, oh man, I don't want to get up. I want to be in the bed and sleep and watch TVs. And I do that actually, by the way. I do it occasionally, said, you know what? I want to go on Netflix and watch 24, marathon, James Bond movies, But after that, okay, that's cool. I got myself back and I go there. So I think the challenge with, like the people says, the midlife crisis, I think it's a kind of fancy word for it, because you actually hit on a nail. Because if we lose something, or we change something, we lose our identity. I'll give you an example. The most people that lose the midlife crisis, it's when they're empty nesters.
Right.
mostly. And what happened, we are husband and wives, and I kind of tell this in our book. We need to really become your best friend with your wife or with your husband. Here is the reason why. So that way you can share your glories and worries, and you don't want to go to bar to talk to bartender about your challenges in your life.
Right.
This is your wife, this is your husband can do that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in our life, we'll be so preoccupied, with other things, and we kind of forget about who we are and how we need to take care, our own connection, because it's kids become more important than anything else, and it's normal. We want to protect our kids. We want to, make sure they fly. But what happened when they fly away, we kind of, now we one-on-one, and we forget how we can communicate with each other on one-on-one, because usually we go through our kids, through their experiences, and it's kind of like a glue that take us together. So when it's empty nesters, we kind of start losing our identity, like you said, and all of a sudden, okay, what I'm doing next? And instead of to kind of reconnect with each other, we start have our other challenges, you know what I mean? Yeah. And if we're not emotionally connecting, if you lose this, all of a sudden you can start emotional connection on the side. Unfortunately, some at work, wherever, and maybe infidelity or affair will start going on, or somebody buys sports car or wherever. But to me, it's when we're losing our identity.
Yes.
And or like if you retired, like in our case, we retired and it was our choice, because in entertainment, it's a great saying, Groucho Marx.
Move the mic a little closer.
Okay. In retirement, you probably know who Groucho Marx is. He's a famous Marx Brothers, one of my comedian hero. And he said once, it's better to retire 3 years earlier than 3 days later.
Yeah.
And especially in entertainment, because sometimes, like I have so many friends that they getting older, and all of a sudden they have less contracts, less phone calls. And one day they sit in the kitchen and realize, I think I'm retired.
Yeah.
So entertainment retires you. And in our case, we still can be performed, we still have offers, but we said, what if we retire and we have our retirement before 50? That would be cool. And then we can pursue some other stuff. And we did. It was our choice.
Yes.
It was not easy choice, because again, we were entrepreneurs, but it's not that uncertainty if it will work out or not work out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's excitement. Yes. And maybe this excitement, because we retired, but now we can pursue something else. So we kind of step over this, how we call that, midlife crisis, I would say. You know what I mean? So we were lucky and blessed that we didn't feel it really.
You took a running leap over.
Do you agree?
I love you totally, 100%.
Yeah, she took that running ballet leap over it.
She did, big time. Yeah.
And Grace, in fact, so Marina is now, so let's talk a little bit about that, reinventing yourself. Okay, so you guys have published your first novel, your first book rather, sorry, it's not a novel, it's your life story, but it is a good story, and you've included enough stories that it reads a little bit like a novel, kind of like your, like fairy tale romance kind of life, that was so beautifully portrayed in your show. The ballerina meets the clown, and and they go through the struggles, and then they're brought together, and then they find each other, they're separated and they find each other again. Is that sort of loosely the story of the show that you did?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's so many wonderful pictures that you have. And you decided to write this book because, this was your life. You guys were this madly in love, romantic couple, just best friends, friends, lovers, and spouse, as well as then you were co-parenting, which is in the spouse part, and you were fit, which was in the lover part, and best friends, which you were working everything out together and confiding each other. And, you were each other's go-to person. And that's how your life developed together, which is fantastic. You thought everyone mostly was like that. Isn't that the way marriage is? You kind of forgotten about the younger years where there was the bad split up with your parents. Like, this was your life. And you were busy doing your life, raising your son, working. And you kind of, when you started coming up, surfacing from that every now and then, you started noticing that unfortunately was not that normal. And that's what inspired you to write this book, these things about getting older, those are myths. We don't have to get unhealthy. Disease in old age is a myth. Fat in old age is a myth. Growing apart in old age is a myth. In the end, it becomes a choice.
Yes,
So
totally it's choice.
yes.
Yeah.
So you wrote this because you were so compelled to let the world know that it doesn't have to be that way, and there is another way, and that way is incredibly rewarding.
Yes.
So what do what has been your experience? Are you seeing people that are coming to you and saying, are you coaching people, for instance, from your book? What is your work now related to the book? How are you helping people through that?
Well, the whole premise of the book, like I give you a little story why we start writing the book. We were working on our show with Yakov Smirnov. He's a famous Russian-born comedian, and he has a theater in Branson. And we know him for 23 years, and he's a great friend of ours. And he said, Andre, let's create a show together about your story. And we did that. And while we were working on the script, and the script was very simple, like young ballerina and clown fall madly in love. Then they were separated by the ocean. In the end, they meet each other in America again, and everything it's great. But he said things that I can never forget. He said, Andre, I would like to make the show so people can watch the show and be inspired that love exists again.
Yes.
So that way they can see that people like you, have that love, passion love. And I was like, what are you talking about? Everybody have that. It's exactly like you said. No, he said, not everybody. And by the way, he's a professor of psychology, and he has a seminar called Love and Laughter. So he really know the subject. He said, no, Andre, not many. It's maybe you and some other couple that I know have that. And that's kind of start me thinking. And then we went to a seminar in UPW, Unleash Power Within, Tony Robbins live seminar in Chicago. And it was a room with probably 3,000 people. And we were doing some exercises. And one of the exercises, you need to meet somebody and kind of, be partner with him. You cannot be partner with your wife. You need to meet somebody else. And I was kind of walk through the audience. I will walk and try to, whoever will get eye contact. No, not this person, not that. And all of a sudden, I saw like end of the wall, some young guy, like maybe 10 years younger than me. And he saw me, we can connect.
Yeah.
And the reason is the exercise, he need to share with me the most limited belief that he has that's stopping in his life. And I need to share my limited belief. And what fascinated me really that he said, my limited belief is that love does not exist and I will never can find love of my life. And it just struck me in the head, this is probably like God-given. Because look, in that 3,000 people, most of them have a big challenge in their lives. Mostly people come to Tony Robbins seminar to get lifted up in life and just become better. Me, I didn't really know Tony Robbins that well. I think, let's go, let's find out what the guy had. I don't think I need to be coached. I'm okay, but I would like to be interested because I always would like to be self-improved. And by the way, Tony coach did really change my life, but then changed my life a little bit kind of sideways from what I'm talking about. It's a really good analogy. He said, the greatest coach, it's a 15 millimeters coach. So what it means, like in a game of golf, if you change your strike or whatever how you call it, 15 millimeters, that will have a huge impact where your ball ends.
Yes.
So that was exactly what happened. There was a 15 millimeters change. I didn't notice right away, but it's affect my life drastically when I'm seeing right now. So, but when I saw the guy and 3,000 people has a big challenges, most of them have problem, financial life, marriage life, most of them, I would mess them. And he find the guy who's passionately in love and he has a limited belief that love exists.
Right.
How in the world that can happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many limited beliefs he find me.
Yeah.
And I talked to him, but was my kind of turning point. And, talking to Yakov. And after the show, people would come to us as Andre, Marina, oh my gosh, thank you very much. We start believing that love exists. You're a great example. Now all kind of start thinking to me, yeah, I remember people who said, so that was my turning point to kind of say that. And plus my personal experience when I was a child, When my parents get divorced, I was almost commit suicide. It was this urge of moment, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to have that. And it was happened 1 month before I need to get married.
Yeah.
That's how it affected me so much. But the turning point was that I said, you know what, I got to be married, and I'm married for life, and my kids will not go through this. My sister, on the other end, he never get married. She's 45 from now. Unfortunately, those divorces affect her in the opposite way. So in nowadays, when 55% divorce rate, and about out of 5 young kids, 3 of them in the just one parent and family, that's devastating effect.
Yes.
So my prayer and my greatest hope in Marina's, if you agree with me, so that will inspire parents to be in a marriage and have the passionate relationship, so the kids can grow and see that it's possible to reverse the relationship. That's basically our hope and desire to inspire people, and plus give them practical solutions and practical steps that they can take and make sure they will have that.
Right. What do you guys think is one of the primary things that begins to get in the way of people being integrated and synchronized? Is it that they just don't work on it, they don't talk about it, and it's sort of like the madly in love, etc., for the first couple years or 15 months or whatever, and then they start growing apart? Is it that just life gets in the way and they forget to take charge of life and make it and create the life they want? Is it distractions? What do you think gets in the way of people growing apart before they've even realized it, and having a bad marriage before they even realize that it's bad?
Okay. Thank you actually for asking this question. Our relationship, or any relationship, it's actually much simpler than we think, but at the same time, it's much more complicated than we think. So when I would start working on the book, I was thinking, okay, what can I do? And another Tony Robbins example, he likes to have a model people, right?
Right.
Modeling. Let's say he said, okay, if you want to bake a cake, what do you need to do? And you don't have a recipe. Follow the chef, and you can have a recipe of the cake. So I was thinking, what if Marina and I, we are that cake? We are the chefs. Follow us, and you have a recipe for your marriage. And I was thinking, what we did that still have a passion in our life. Like passion, it's like a fire, right? Would you agree with me?
Yes.
It's a fire, you can ignite that spark, and that's romance, it's a glance or joke or whatever it is, and everything is, start work out, you have a fire. But all of a sudden, if you don't put real wood in it, like, the trust and communications and sex life, it starts fizzle out, and in the end, it can die. That's what most people have. They don't keep their passion alive.
True.
So, and we try to figure out what we did, and I think it's it's a 5-step process how we set. So, number 1 step, we need to lay the foundation in formal commitment. It's a rock solid foundation. It's a commitment that you are committed to each other for life. It's not the option. Option is no divorce. When we get married and we sell those vows for the bad, for the worse, and sick and health, we are staying together. It's not an option. The second thing is we start building 3 walls: passionate lover, best friends, and compassionate spouse. So those walls create a building or a pyramid of structure that withstand all of the storm and weather of our relationship. It's a pyramid. And actually, by the way, pyramid is the strongest structure, geometrical structure.
Yes.
But Pyramid of Giza, they stage 4, it's the only structure that exists until now from 7 wonders of the world.
Yes. At what point in your marriage did you consciously start talking about that?
Oh, we never talk about this until we start thinking about the book.
The book. So, but that's what you were doing. But that's what you were doing.
But here's another 5th step that's the most important of them of all, and actually kind of answer your question about if we start growing apart. It's a connection. What connection is, like many psychiatrists or marriage counselors says, you know what? Communication is a key. If you will not communicate with each other, you'll grow apart. We would add to our 2 cents.
Yeah.
You cannot communicate if you're not connected.
True.
If you're not on the same wavelength, how we can communicate?
Yeah.
We cannot. Like, I would be preoccupied in my own bubble, and Marina can be with own thoughts and her challenges. And we try to talk to each other. Yeah, we're talking. Do we hear each other? Not really.
Yeah.
So that's what's important stuff. Before we can commit to each other, make sure we are communicating our desires, our needs, that are we on the same page or on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
When we communicate on the same wavelength, right?
Right.
When we can really commit it to each other, because we can say, you know what? Yes, I'm married. Yes, I'm married for life. Do we really connect it when we say that? Maybe not. Maybe you have your own desires, your own needs. She has her own desire and needs. And we're not really connected with our own needs and desires what need to be in the future.
Yes.
I think that's the most important part, because it's never ending process. I come back home today and I really kind of watch Marina, what I need to say, and I'm tuned in. It's in our book, you will see it's called emotional tuning.
Mm-hmm.
When we come in, we need to kind of, figure out, do we connect it right now? What needs to be done? And there's a few exercises how we can connect. We connect through 5 senses, to our sight, through the smell, through the taste, through the touch, and through the hearing. And it's a simple exercise. And also we can connect through intellectual level or through emotional tuning. We connect just from SMS. You can send the text, lovely text every day, just small things, but you still have that connection. You're right there.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. That's excellent. And Marina, did you go through the empty nest syndrome? Jumping back a little bit to that.
Yes, we did a couple of times. Our kid was trying to do some different stuff in their life, and so they moved to different cities to start new life, I would say adult life.
Yeah.
Every time I was felt like, okay, now we are empty nesters.
Yeah.
Second time it was a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we already have some experience, and again,
Third time she said, go, just go, don't come back.
Yeah, right. Well, then now, I mean, so back to the concept of baby boomers and reinventing yourselves. You've become an incredible artist. And so, you've developed the creative nurturing in another area. Is that sort of how you look at it? Is that sort of filling that role, your own creativity?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying these words. And as a performance, we always see how to express ourselves and what else we can create in different fields. And so we still have performance with Andre. And I do paintings, and Andre we do designing. And
Andre, can you hold it a little closer to her? Thank you. So I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said, Marina.
So basically,
that's okay. You're, talking about the artist is always creating in some fashion, finding a way to express themselves. And so is that filling a lot of your time?
So we're trying to find the passion what we have while we've been on a stage in our life now. So we're trying different things and trying to kind of express ourselves, the best part of us.
Yeah, I think that those life transitions and those leaps that we were talking about to different phases of life, it's a little bit like moving. We have created our life, and our life is the home that we're in, and it's comfortable and it's familiar. But when we're ready for a change and we know there's going to be a new place and we're excited about that, but when we haven't yet settled into a new home or found the home or made it feel like home, then there's that sort of like that disorientation. Those walls that made up my life have changed. So what are the new walls? And so it takes a little time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Everything takes time, but you always have choice.
Yes. Yeah. You always have choice. Definitely. So, are you guys actually coaching clients now, relationship-wise?
Not really. I never have a desire to be a coach, but sometimes it just falls on my lap. Just people come to me and say, Andre, could you help me with this? So I don't consider myself a coach. Even both of us, we certified from Tony Robbins school. So I'm not really coaching, but what I do right now, we wrote a book, and then it was, okay, what's the next step? And people will ask, okay, but now what's the next step? Now we're creating a program. It's called 3 days to money and relationship rescue program. So and the whole idea is that just in 3 days, you can really turn out your relationship. And why I put money in there, because nowadays, when I talk to, not clients, I don't take clients, but I talk to people who ask my advice. And all of a sudden I start to recognize the pattern. The people really, if they struggle financially, the relationship, it struggles as well. It's kind of fascinate me. But at the same time, it's really, it's understandable, because if you look through our book, it's a 3 walls: compassionate spouse, best friend, and passionate lover. But the compassionate spouse wall, it contains from 2 important characteristics. It's money matters and domestic responsibilities, because it's your household.
Right.
And what it is actually, if the actually compassionate spouse wall, it's your load-bearing wall for your structure.
I'm sorry, which is the load-bearing wall?
It's a load-bearing wall, the compassionate spouse.
Yes.
So what it means, like, it's many examples you probably know. If people, stop doing intimacy, or they grow apart as a friends, but they still live together because of the responsibilities, or parenting responsibilities, or it's a house.
Which is the more common.
More common, exactly. But what it means, that's wall, it's holding the whole marriage in pact. So by the way, it's actually a great thing. If people start working on other things, they can again rebuild the life pyramid. So in that case, if we have a challenges in relationship, it's an intimacy or friendship, the number one of the warning sign that I always kind of look through my clients or friends who ask me, how are we doing financially, or how are we doing domestic responsibilities? If this wall is strong, because if this wall not strong enough, other walls can collapse very easily.
Right.
So this is why I said it's important to have a money, because if we think about it, and I ask many people, okay, let's think, what's your challenges? And they said this and that, sexual intimacy, or friendship, or we don't spend time together, or we don't have time for kids, or whatever it is. And I ask them, what if, just imagine this, all of a sudden you don't need to worry about your money. All of a sudden you don't need to be worried about, to pay bills, or whatever it is. And it's like a light bulb. Oh, wow, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Is that would be helpful? Said, yes, that will be helpful. Do you all feel like a big burden kind of get away from your shoulders? Said, oh, yeah. So this is make sense that if we are concentrate on financial things, so if that will let us free to be more friends with our loved ones, it give us maybe take extra vacation, or go on regular dates, or, take our kids and family go on vacation that we all deserve, but we can't because we work. But at the same time, we work as a dogs, but we don't have fruits of our money. So that way, our program not only will help to recreate relationship, but at the same time, it will focus how we can better manage our finances, what we can do, what can invest in, what we can do, what kind of ways we can do that we can, help us to really make this our wall, spouse will make strong, so then we can concentrate on other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when me and Marina, we came here without any dollar in our pocket in the United States. We arrived here, no English, no language, and it was a great thing for us.
That was at the fall of the Soviet Union, right?
Fall of Soviet Union, yes, but it was a great thing for us because we actually burn our boats. It's a famous expression, burn your boats. We did burn our boats. We cannot go home. It's a Soviet Union. We don't have any helps from our parents to raise our son. We have no money. So it's only for us to succeed in ways how we did it, live in a budget, invest on this. Now we understand how we did, but we don't have any other choices.
Right.
And to us together, we help each other to succeed in that new country of ours. And that's what we are right now. And we are pursuing to have financial freedom, but we are pretty comfortably, but it's not happens in over time. So
right.
That's what we try to help. You know what? We've been there.
Yeah.
We know how you feel, but let's work on that first, and let's do this, and let's figure out where it is. And in only 3 days, they will have kind of like, oh, that's a blueprint.
Right.
Okay, now I know what to do. because if you look closely, when we were working on the books, we were reading so many books on relationship, maybe 100, maybe more. I don't know. I was watching seminars and everything. But the more I was reading, the more I confused was, and the more was clear. I was clear about that all of these books didn't even apply to us, literally. Probably 99% of books that I read, they will confuse people. They will confuse couple. It's only few books that's really stood up, and even those books, they didn't tell you what to do. Because think about this. You have a specific problem, right? And you go specific problem and you try to find out. You need to read the whole book to figure out specific problem. And that book will tell you, oh, you have this because you have that, and you have that, you have that. And all of a sudden, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to do that anymore. Not in any book have a blueprint what needs to be done. Like I mentioned before, our relationship, it's much simpler than we think and much more complicated than we think.
Yeah.
So, but if you have a specific steps that would need to be done, you can have passionate relationship.
Yeah, totally. And I really like how you laid out, it's so clear to look at the three areas. And then within that, you see what falls within those three areas of spouse, lover, and friend.
And another thing, sorry to interrupt, but
go ahead.
Why we feel that it's the way to go. I've been privileged to talk to more than 500 couples, actually interview them. And after interview them for about 200, I can see by body language, by the glance to each other, if they were passionate in love or not. So, and I really know that it's only maybe few that I know, maybe dozen, who have that passionate relationship. I know it's possible. It's not only us or somebody else. It's really passionate. If you can work on those things, commitment, the three walls, compassionate spouse, best friend, and passionate lover, and communication, which is through connection.
Yeah.
And actually, connection, trust, it's the ultimate connection. So we have a trust in our everyday communication. So you can keep your passion, and passionate.
Yeah, no, it makes so much sense. And I think that you mentioned trust. Some of the ways in modern society that trust is eroded in relationships is, again, following sort of the tradition in the memes where each spouse will talk about the other to their friends, as opposed to sharing their troubles with their spouse, their best friend, spouse. It's like instead of working it through, there was this derision, this criticism, this, kind of this, well, if only he would, kind of thing. And where they actually kind of cut each other down in public. I think so much of that is just habit. It's maybe things that they were enculturated with growing up. But if you start, it's it's like that 5 millimeter that you talked about. It's not a big adjustment. It's beginning to tweak it just a little bit, where instead of criticizing, it's inquiring, instead of arguing, it's, one of the things we were talking also that came to mind, I've always thought it's so sad when couples have a tragedy in life, like the loss of a loved one or something like that. You see, whether it's a movie or story or someone there are couples where it just tears the family apart. In particular, Hollywood likes to portray it that, a child dies and the husband and wife are blaming each other and that sort of thing. And I've always thought, that should be the time that families pull together most. When it is that there's tragedy, when it is that there's financial struggles. But so often it's just they don't talk about it. Instead, they argue about it rather than have a conversation about it. And so that's really the premise. It's like, if you're building a wall, you don't sit there arguing about the wall. You figure out how to build it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And the trust, it didn't come overnight. It's test your what you do, your action through the life. And again, it's not come overnight, like overnight. And it's a pivotal moments that the life will test you. It's like, depends on your action, that will judge your character and ultimate trust. And we did it in our life few times. It's like Marina said, it's your choice. You always have a choice. You'll have a choice to do your action that you'll have that trust, or it will be no trust. And instead of to have that trust, that now we trust each other. We actually call it, it's called a responsibility of freedom. That's I call it, responsibility of freedom. So what we are, we both grown up and we have a freedom whatever we want to do in our lives. She's grown up, I'm grown up. But you have a responsibility of what the circumstances will be of our action. And everything what we do, we always think, okay, how that will affect my loved one, how that will affect my family. So if we have that in the back of our mind, we will not do stupid things, you know.
Right.
We have that responsibility of freedom. Freedom, it's a great thing, but you have a responsibility of that.
Right.
We always do things that we know that it will not harm our loved one.
Right, definitely. And, you know, that in a way, back to fitness, is another kind of discipline. You know, doing the right thing because we know it's the right thing to do and because that's healthy for our relationships and it's healthy for our moral character and how we feel about ourselves as well. Just like exercise makes us stronger and feel better about ourselves. It's really all connected.
Yes.
So I've kept you guys for a while. If you could tell us where, and we'll post the links to your book and to your website and also to your program. Is your website where we should go for the program, or do you have a separate website for that?
It's a website called Can Love Be for Life?
Which is the title of your amazing book.
Yes.
That's great. People can get on Amazon or probably from your site. And we'll post the link as well with this interview.
All right. And it's actually a free 3-day seminar. So you can sign up for free. And it's a great blueprint. It will already give you the great start. We guarantee after 3 days, your mind will feel a little bit easier.
Now, how are you doing a free 3-day seminar and yet you're not selling coaching on the other side of it because you said you didn't want to coach? So how are you doing that?
Well, what we do, number one, we want to help people. That's number one thing. We want to contribute to our community. But another thing is, if people would be interested, if it's a 3 days, they would like 3 days, then they can sign for 30 days to better and happy money and relationship. And that's a program. We will charge money for that if they like 3 days. So it will be 30 days. And it will be never too late to sign up because every day, every 30 days, you can sign up. It's every month we'll have a community of people who will do the same thing. It will be a group of people who will cheer with each other and, you know, share their achievements or setbacks. So it will be a place where they can talk to each other.
So I think the next book might be the success stories from the relationship program.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Have success stories from that, you know, like chicken soup for the soul. So, you know, so love is forever and here are the stories.
Right.
Love is for life and here are the stories.
Right.
No, that would be awesome. Well, it's wonderful catching up with you two. You're just incredible people, both of you. I admire you deeply, and I'm really grateful to be able to call you friends as well. So thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure we could talk all night, but I want to let you go and get on to taking your beautiful wife to dinner.
Thank you. And likewise, LeAura, we have such a deep respect for you and your family, your entrepreneurial spirit, and you are, you know, be conscious of your physical fitness and emotional and, you know, intimacy with and connection with your family. It's absolutely wonderful. It's actually inspiring that, you know, you can have the friends and who is kind of on the same wavelength with you, which is awesome.
Yes, definitely. And even if we're not in the same city, there's always that connection, like we pick up right where we left off.
Right.
Okay, guys, take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.